My name is Addison, and I'm the director of the Data and GIS Services here at Washington University. And I wanted to just talk just a little bit about our unit within university libraries. About 2 years ago, the GIS unit was working as a standalone unit at the university that reported directly to the provost office. And we had responsibilities across the entire institution that ranged from academics through research and ultimately through administration. And we fulfilled that role in many different ways. If you've ever used ArcGIS software on campus, our group manages and pays for, in fact, that license on behalf of the entire university. So that's one benefit. And we have at any given time about 150 users of that software. And if you were to go out and commercially buy ArcGIS, just the desktop version, on the low end, that would cost about $1,500 a person. So even on a very conservative scale, 1,500 times 150 users adds up to real money, no matter how you count it. And we use a lot more than just the basic software package. As I look around the room, I see many of you that are using additional modules in ArcGIS, or you're using add-on packages, or you're using advanced analysis in that software. And so it really is a community of users at Washington University that's taking advantage of that service. We also engage in both funded or sponsored and unsponsored research. We work with faculty and students and even staff in a lot of cases to bring GIS into their workflow or to solve some sort of problem. So I mentioned 2 years ago, we had kind of an interesting set of conversations between myself, then Provost Macias, and our new university librarian, Jeffrey Tresack. And we made a decision at that time to merge GIS with university libraries. This is something that had been discussed off and on ever since I came to WashU almost 9 years ago now. And at that point, the GIS team was formed as a result of a faculty committee that made some recommendations to kind of get GIS headed in the right direction or in a direction on behalf of the university. So 2 years ago, we had a major change, and at that time, GIS also took on the responsibilities of starting to think about research data management, research data preservation, distribution, delivery, discoverability, all those kinds of things that make GIS work, but then also extending that beyond just GIS and looking at individual research projects and things that may or may not eventually find their way into spatial data. So these days we're doing a lot of other kinds of things that range from data management plans. If you've had to fill out a federal grant opportunity in the last 2 years, you probably are familiar with data management plans. But we also develop databases. We can help with metadata and even creating online collections and discoverability. We continue to do all the things that we've done in GIS. Some things that I can tell you we're looking into now is what next generation visualization looks like. So we're looking at things like Oculus Rift in terms of virtual reality. So we're changing that paradigm from the CAVE facility, which is this big implementation of virtual reality, and bringing that to a more personal level. And that affords us some things that we haven't really been able to do in the past. We're looking at new 3D sensors where in a matter of minutes we can make a 3D representation of this room. You know, even a couple of years ago that would have taken an hour to do something like that. So these areas, these domains are changing very rapidly, and it's an exciting time to be involved with spatial data. The entire GIS team, I think, has made it into the room now. We have Jennifer Moore, who's our GIS librarian in the back. We have Bill Winston, the GIS analyst. We have Aster Shane, who's our GIS programmer. And then Cynthia Hudson, who's our research data librarian. So please, during the break, or during any of the conversation times, feel free to engage any of us and ask questions. So today, we're going to have 3 different kind of blocks of talks. And those talks are going to come in 2 different flavors. Longer form will be a 20-minute version, and we have a couple excellent 20-minute talks that are going to be delivered today. And the balance of the talks are going to be lightning talks. And if you're not familiar with lightning talks, they're a much abbreviated format. You have 7 minutes That 7 minute is a hard window. You're cut off after 7 minutes. So if you've got things you want to make sure you say, you have to say them, quick. And it's designed to be more fast-paced and to generate ideas and to generate conversations that can occur during the break and stimulate those kinds of conversations. Our first speaker is Derek Koferlin from the Sand Fox School, and I'll let him introduce his topic.
Thank you, Aaron, for the introduction. And I first want to give a shout out to thanking everyone to come today, but specifically to the GIS lab, to Aaron and Bill Winston and Jennifer Moore for all the help they've given us and collaborative work they've